Ready and waiting. Comrade, reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Very well. Waiting. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. At once. At once. At once. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Reporting. Very well. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Very well. Comrade, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Very well. Reporting. Yes, sir. Agreed. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reinforcements have
Waiting
arrived.
order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting
Very
orders. Yes, sir. Reporting. Very well. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Mission saved.
Waiting affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Acknowledged. At once. At once. Of course. Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Comrade. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Report agreed.
Waiting acknowledged.
Report agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Very well.
Mission saved.
Agreed. At once.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Reinforcements
Agreed.
arrived. First objective met. Mission saved.
Agreed.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Mission loaded. Mission loaded.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. At once.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Reinforcements
Reporting.
arrived.
Agreed.
Comrade.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Need a jump?
At once. Agreed. Very well. Yes, sir.
Waiting
Acknowledged.
order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Report affirmative. Agreed. Yes, sir. Very well. Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative. 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 At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Report affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. At once. At once. Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Yes,
At once.
sir.
Agreed.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Very well. At once. At once. At once. At once.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. 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 Agreed. Very well.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Ready and waiting. Very well. Agreed.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Agreed. At once. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Agreed. 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 Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Very well. At once. Agreed. Agreed. Affirmative. 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 Agreed. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. At once. Very well. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Reporting.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Waiting orders. Waiting affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Wait, affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Agreed. At once. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Mission saved.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade, affirmative.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir.
Let's dance. Lights out.
Unit lost. Mission loaded.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Need a jump? Fully charged. Let's dance.
Awaiting
Power
orders.
on. Let's dance. Fully charged. Let's dance. Extra crispy.
Reporting.
Power on. Fully charged. Let's dance.
Comrade, acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Awaiting orders.
Power on. Power on. Burn, baby, burn.
Yes, sir.
Fully charged. Power on.
Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Reporting. Very well. Waiting
Reinforcements have
order.
arrived. First objective met. Mission saved.
Vehicle reporting. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Comrade.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Comrade. Affirmative. No problem. Acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Yes, sir. Comrade. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Comrade.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Waiting order.
Acknowledged.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Comrade.
Vehicle
Acknowledged. Comrade. Yes, sir.
Naval
Affirmative.
unit lost.
Vehicle acknowledged.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Awaiting
Acknowledged.
acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting affirmative. Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Naval unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Warning, 5 minutes remaining.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Naval unit lost.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Warning, 4 minutes
Affirmative.
remaining.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Warning, 3 minutes
Acknowledged.
remaining.
Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Vehicle
Acknowledged.
reporting.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Mission saved. Warning, 2 minutes remaining.
Yes, sir.
Charged. Let's dance.
Awaiting orders.
Burn, baby, burn.
Waiting orders.
Mission saved.
Yes. Burn, baby,
Unit
burn.
lost.
Affirmative.
Jump. Fully charged. Power on.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Warning, 1 minute remaining. Mission saved. Reinforcements have arrived.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes. Power on. Let's dance.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Vehicle
Reinforcements have
acknowledged.
arrived.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting acknowledged. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Reporting.
Affirmative. Yes,
Acknowledged.
sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Vehicle report.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Awaiting
Acknowledged.
orders. Awaiting
Acknowledged.
orders. Yes, sir. Vehicle report.
Affirmative.
Reporting.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Vehicle
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Vehicle report.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
At once.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Reporting.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Reporting.
Vehicle
Affirmative.
reporting.
Affirmative.
Yes,
Unit
very well.
lost.
Affirmative. At once. Very well. Agreed. Very well. Yes, sir. Agreed. Agreed. At once.
Mission saved.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative.
Reporting.
Acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting.
Waiting orders.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
Awaiting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Need a jump? Let's dance.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Agreed. Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Your juice fully charged. Let's power on.
Reporting.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission accomplished.